Hey all, Kurt Sasso here from TGT Webcomics. We're here at Kids Read Comics with one of my favorite guys of all times from, of course, you know him from the Art and Story podcast, as well as, you know, his amazing artwork, Mark Rudolph. How you doing today,
Good.
Mark?
Thanks for having me. Thanks for covering the event, let's put that, yeah. It's good to see you here.
Well, you know, I've enjoyed your work, I've enjoyed your podcast, but, you know, we're here about you. We're here about your work. And
just me, not the other guys, huh?
Just not the, yeah, no, we got Kevin done and all that stuff. We'll get Jersey later on when I can find him, but...
Oh, he's going to be running around like a chicken's head off today, so...
But talk about yourself. Talk about how you got into comics here.
I guess like everybody else, you know, at a certain age, you know, you start drawing. Everybody starts drawing, I think, and it's just that there's that extra kind of, or there's that time when you try, you know, okay, you either maybe get into sports or you get into other things, and art was always a huge deal for me, and a lot of it kind of came from, you know, you go to the grocery store with your mom, hey, can I get a Spider-Man or a G.I. Joe comic, and that kind of stuff. Started like almost deconstructing it as a kid a little bit more, and then luckily, my parents were incredibly supportive of all this stuff, so they actually found like community workshops and things like that. So I'd actually be doing comics like from the age of like 7 or 8 on. And luckily, that I just kind of kept that going, but it petered out right out of high school, and I got really into the extreme metal scene, which I do another podcast I'll plug, the Requiem Metal podcast as well. And so we did, I kind of went off into do more the design route, did a lot of graphic design and album cover design and stuff like that. And then I think it was back when I finished up art school. For basically my final project, I was started to do Closing Doors, the graphic novel that I did about the record store closing down in the, you know, fictional town, but basically based on one that I was actually working at at that time. So, and then from there, it was just kind of the indie comic scene. I tried a little bit of the submission rounds, you know, to the major companies, but it really it didn't seem to be my thing. I really want to do my own projects. You know, even as great as freelance is, there's always that kind of burning desire in the back of my head to always, I got this project, I want to do this. I mean, a whole sketchbook full of ideas that'll probably never ever come to see the light of day, but it's been basically a lifelong pursuit.
Now you have some really great works here. You have, you know, Johnny Oxbow, you have War, you have, you know,
the
Mulligan's Run books here, which are very Johnny Quest-ish, which is just amazing, because you don't see that style very often, at least to this extent, at least in terms of...
it seems to kind of come around every... 5 to 10 years or something, a little bit, but it doesn't seem to stick around, and I seem to always be on the off cycle, so it's always just kind of in the background. But I think probably my biggest influence on a lot of this stuff is, you know, 60s Hanna-Barbera animation, like Rod Serling kind of O. Henry endings, you know, the twist endings, the Outer Limits, kind of a lot of that 60s sci-fi television kind of vibe, but try to have a little bit more of a modern storytelling thing where it's not, you know, real, you know, Stan Lee-ish and a lot of caption boxes and explaining everything that's already being shown visually. So trying to take a lot of those old kind of those old tropes and a lot of the old like visual cues from that kind of era of stuff, and kind of bring it up, update it modern, and make a one and done book that doesn't have to be drenched in continuity. You know, so people can enjoy it no matter what walk of life. They don't have to like, okay, this is only number 1. Well, you can read number 1 or number 10 and you get the same thing, or you read it in sequence, you get just a little bit more. You know, like an old I'm trying to think of a show that actually did that. I guess, you know, the original Star Trek series to some degree, you get a little bit of like character quirks, but there's never this huge season-long continuity arc that you feel lost in, you know. So.
Yeah, you can pick up any Star Trek episode and just watch it for a great episode.
Exactly, yeah, just human drama. That's just all my books kind of have a universal human truth that I try to basically, like what they did in Twilight Zone. You talk about greed, but you drench in some kind of sci-fi metaphor or something like that. So it's kind of where I get my kicks.
And you know, you could pull, you know, old actors from like the sci-fi of the Twilight years and all that stuff, and bring them into your comics as more of a parody-esque type aspect.
Even that, or like in John Oxbow's case, John Amos from Good Times, the dad in Good Times.
Oh yeah.
That's who he's loosely based on. So I kind of cast, you know, in comics you can kind of cast, you know, anybody, living or dead. So that's kind of great, and then tweak them a little bit, you know, so it's not a complete lift or whatever. But yeah.
So what else, you know, because I guess because Jersey is here, that it's a natural progression that you guys come here as well. But what draws you to this type of convention where kids come to read comics?
Well, I mean, as much as I enjoy going to a Comic-Con, not as much as I used to for the collector mentality kind of thing, But as far as just opening it up to everybody, so it's not such this inclusive kind of club. I think actually like opening the door, especially with the workshop aspect, so people come in, parents can sit with their kids and actually understand, okay, there's more, comics aren't just throwaway medium. Like these are actually, this is how I learned how to read, was by reading comic books. And I think just kind of getting yourself out there to the public at large, and a really broad demographic is, kids and families and just people walking off the street. I think it's an incredible opportunity just to get the name of comics out there, that it's not just superhero comics. There's comics of, especially look at the guests we have here today, and it's across the board. You've got like slice of life kind of stuff, you've got sci-fi stuff, we've got Roger Langridge doing fantastic work over there, Sarah Turner as well. It's such a huge, it's this whole like kind of like untapped world that nobody even really knows about, but there's just as much great content as there is at a major convention. And bring kind of this kind of stuff to a more depressed area. Detroit's not doing great financially, so it's great to have something like this in an area that doesn't have a lot of huge cultural stuff happening right now, and it's all free.
No, most definitely, and it's great to give back to the community that has, I'm sure, a lot of extremely talented artists that just haven't gotten that break as well. Because exactly. I believe there's also a portfolio review sometime as well.
There's a couple. Unfortunately, one got canceled due to some flight delays. But yeah, we've got. I think there's 2 today, and I think there's 2 tomorrow as well. So hopefully it'll be the kind of portfolio review. I think it's from working professionals and not necessarily editors. So it's I think it'll be more broad and more helpful, and not like, well, this is how we do it here. Like this is our house style that you need to kind of ape or whatever. So that should be great. And the workshops are going nonstop for 2 days.
Which is amazing. We're definitely going to get in and see a few as well. But for those that want to go to your websites, which ones should we visit?
You can go to artandstorypodcast.com to see Art and Story, but then all my work is at markrudolph.com. Where you can see everything from it's kind of a portfolio site, but it's also got links to all my books and stuff as well, but showing like album covers and CD design, that kind of stuff, as well as the comics work and the illustration work as well. So,
well, hey Mark, it's been a real pleasure speaking to you. I just want to thank you. Take the time to do this interview, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of this weekend.
Thanks so much.